Hey guys, what's up? A lot of people have asked me to share my tips on how I learned English because apparently they think that my English is pretty good for a non-native speaker, and I'm really happy to hear that, so thanks a lot guys. So today I've decided to make a video about how to learn and improve your English on your own. First of all, I would like to apologize beforehand to all of my viewers who are from English-speaking countries, as this video is obviously not useful for you, but hopefully you'll still enjoy watching this nonetheless. Please keep in mind that the tips that I'm about to give you are my personal tips, so they might not suit your needs and tastes. But I just want to share what I know with you guys, so hopefully it will help you guys in learning and improving your English. Okay then, let's start! From what I've seen throughout my years of learning English, there are 3 common mistakes that people often make while learning this language. First, they memorize too many formulas. Formulas are important to form a sentence using the correct grammar. However, I don't think that memorizing them is the right way to start learning English. I've seen a lot of my students who are often too busy memorizing the formulas that when I asked them to introduce themselves in class, they had to stop and think for a long time before actually starting their introduction. They were often too busy thinking of the correct formulas to use that they ended up becoming too overwhelmed and refused to do the introduction because they didn't know which formula they should use. I think it's far more important to just form an imperfect sentence that people will still be able to understand, rather than to try thinking of the perfect grammar to use and having difficulties to do it that you end up saying nothing at all. Second, they only work on written assignments and exercises. I'll give you an example. So there are these 2 kids, let's just call them Steve and Samantha. Steve and Samantha learned English in different cram schools. In Steve's school, the students were always given assignments to finish whenever they go to class. In Samantha's school, the teacher would always interact with the students, like asking them how their days went, encouraging them to speak in English, and playing games with them using English. When it was time for the English exam, Steve scored better than Samantha in the test. But when they had to use English in a daily conversation, Samantha did much better than Steve. Why is that? Well, in Steve's case, he managed to achieve a high score because he was used to working on written assignments. It doesn't necessarily mean that he is fluent in English. It just means that he is used to working on those assignments. There's a difference between being able to solve things because you are used to doing it and being able to solve them because you understand them. We've heard our teachers said it countless times, understand, not memorize. Samantha was able to use English in a daily conversation because she actually understands it. The problem that I often see is, many people are only practicing their English by doing the assignments in their books, but they never practice their English when they're not doing their assignments. You can't expect to be fluent in English that way. We don't use paperwork to communicate with people in real life. We have to talk to them in order to socialize with them. Finally, they never use English because they're afraid of making mistakes. I don't really blame people if they are afraid of making mistakes because some people can be really harsh towards those non-native English speakers whenever they make mistakes in their sentences. However, I found a great quote that will hopefully encourage you to use English more often without having to feel ashamed of yourself. And the quote goes like this: "Never make fun of someone who speaks broken English. It means they know another language." Don't be embarrassed if your English is not perfect. My English is far from perfect, but that doesn't stop me from making videos in my broken English. It's already good enough that you're communicating using a language that is not your native language, so you have to be proud of that. Not many people can speak Indonesian, and I never make fun of them whenever they try to speak in my language because I know that it's not even their native language, so it's totally natural to not be fluent at it. So don't feel bad if people start making fun of your broken English because I'm sure that they won't even be able to form a correct sentence in your native language once you ask them to. Now that we've tackled the common mistakes, it's time to move on to the learning tips. Watch TV or videos on YouTube. When I was little, I would always watch various cartoons on TV every time I went home from school, mainly on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Back then, I didn't understand English at all, so here's how the show used to sound like from my perspective. But because I watched those cartoons every single day, I slowly began catching on to what was being said, even though I still didn't know what those things meant, but at least I knew the words that were being used in the dialogue, so I could just search for the meanings later on in the dictionaries. It also trained my ears, and I was used to hearing common names like Arnold, Gerald, Tommy, Chucky, and many more, and I was able to spell them out little by little. If I hadn't watched those cartoons frequently, I would have probably thought that their names were spelled like this. Since nowadays people are more into YouTube than TV, you can easily replace the TV shows with various YouTube videos that have English-speaking content in them. Listen to music. Listening to music will help you figure out how to pronounce certain words, and it will definitely help you gain new vocabulary since you will most likely search for the lyrics after you have finished listening to the song. Another thing you can do is try guessing the lyrics as you listen to the song, and later when you read the lyrics, you can see how many words you managed to guess correctly. That will definitely help you improve your listening skills. Make sure to read a lot of books in English. I started off with reading teen novels because the words there are very easy to understand and they helped me get interested enough to read even more books. When I felt that I was ready to move on to the next step, I began reading young adult novels and self-enrichment books. Now I've begun reading classic novels and I admit I'm still having a lot of difficulties in reading them, but I'm sure I'll get used to it sooner or later. Make sure to start small. Don't just jump in and start reading classic novels and literatures because it will make you feel very stressful when you don't understand a single word written in there. Start with the light reading before moving on to the heavier ones. I don't suggest learning English by reading fanfictions because not all of them are well written. It'd be bad if you happen to stumble upon a horribly written fanfiction by accident and assume that what is written there is the correct way to use English because it's definitely not. Even though I don't suggest you learning English by reading fanfictions, I do encourage you to write one if that is your thing. I started writing English fanfictions when I was in middle school, and my English has improved a lot ever since then. You'll probably end up making a lot of spelling and grammar mistakes in your writing, but that's okay because it's much better to write and make a lot of mistakes than to not write at all. Besides, we can all learn from our mistakes and we can get better after learning from them. I can guarantee that when you read your old fanfics years later, you will cringe hard at them, but you will also see how much your writing has improved and it will be very satisfying to witness your growth through your writing. The same goes for writing stories, poetries, your diary, and your blog as well. Write anything that you'd like to write, but make sure it's in English. Oh yeah, for those of you who are terrified of fanfiction, or who are mentally scarred from having read some of them, I have to tell you that fanfiction doesn't have to be creepy. Sure, there's a lot of extreme shipping fanfictions published in various websites, mainly Tumblr, but you don't have to write that type of fanfiction if you don't want to. Fanfiction can be about a lot of different things. One of the fanfics that I wrote back when I was still in school is about how it would be like if my best friends and I happened to fall into the anime world. I still have the book here and it's very heartwarming whenever my best friends and I read it together. So don't worry about having to make creepy shipping fanfics. Just make fanfictions that you're comfortable with. Speak to your dolls. Many people suggest that we should find someone to speak English with to improve our English speaking skills. But since I didn't have any sparring partner, I would always talk to my dolls instead. So whenever I have something that I really want to convey but can't really bring myself to say it to people, I would rant to my dolls about it in English. And believe it or not, it has actually helped me develop my English speaking skills. The good thing about this is that you don't have to hold back when you talk to your dolls because they won't protest and criticize your atrocious grammars and pronunciation when you talk to them. And it will hopefully help you grow more confident in speaking using English. Oh my god, Bear, guess what happened to me today? This might sound stupid too, but my friend Bonita actually ate my chocolate. All of them. Bonita just said, oh my god, I'm so full, I'm so happy. Chocolates are my favorite things in the world. And I'm so angry at her, I can't believe I used to...
Send help.
Record yourself talking. Another thing that I used to do is I would recite some of the dialogues in my favorite movies and record it using this old tape recorder. Yes, back in my days, we used to record sounds using this, and this was a pretty big deal. So anyway, what I used to do is I would act as different characters from the movie and record myself talking using this tape recorder. I still have the old recording of me pretending to be Harry Potter here.
The house cup totals are being calculated. In the first place goes to Slytherin with 472. Plop, 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 plop! Yay! Yes, well done, Slytherin, well done, Slytherin, no? However, for making friendship, I award 10 points to Neville Longbottom. Yay! Gryffindor win the house cup. Yay! Ding, 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 ding.
I would then listen to the recording later on and analyze the way I used my intonation and how I pronounce certain words, and I would try improving my speaking until I managed to speak as closely as how those characters did in the movie. So those were all the tips I could share with you guys today. I hope you found them useful to you. Again, those were just my personal tips which I got from my personal experience. So I apologize if you didn't find them useful. Either way, I still hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you guys have any other tips that you would like to share with the rest of us, then please leave them in the comment box below. So that's all from me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you for those of you who have subscribed to me. If you haven't, then please be sure to click on the shiny subscribe button below. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends if you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you on my next one. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye. So today Shut up. When they're not doing their motorcycle. Shut up. I don't want your bread. So many motorbikes, man. Since now so many freaking motorbikes. I love MotoGP, but not like this.